welcome back to our channel. I know it's been a super long time since I've updated. If you do follow me on Instagram, then you know all the stuff I'm about to tell you, so you can skip this. This is just a little update of what has happened since March. I was pregnant with twins in March. We did see the heartbeats on, I have a little note card. On March 4th, I woke up with a fever of 102 about 6 a.m. We called our fertility doctor and he told us to go to the closest emergency room. We went there. I got checked in. I was there all day and they could not find the babies. They could not find the sacs. They could not find, it was like I was never pregnant. It was so scary and sucked, and it was, here we go all over again. As many of you know, I had a miscarriage that previous October. So we ended up getting checked in around 5 or 6 o'clock at night. They decided that they were going to hold me because my fever wasn't going away. They wanted to do some more ultrasounds to find out what was going on, why they couldn't even find the sacs. So I went for a couple more ultrasounds and an x-ray with a protective shield over me. They called it a spontaneous abortion. They said I must have passed, because I was having some bleeding. They said I must have passed one of the sacs and then the other sac and not have known it. And in my gut, I didn't feel like that was true. Something was telling me I was not, that it didn't happen. I didn't feel like it really happened. So they admitted me to the hospital. Then I was still having high fevers. They couldn't figure out what was going on. They said they thought there wasn't enough tissue left in my uterus to do a D&C, but then come Saturday, because this all happened, come Sunday, this all happened on a Saturday, they decided that they were going to do a D&C because my fevers weren't going away, and they thought that that would help. So about 3 o'clock on Sunday, I was getting the D&C at 5 o'clock. They had put a hat in the toilet to catch some urine sample to test that I had passed one of the sacs, and that was really hard. I knew when I passed it. I knew. They did take it off for testing and everything. Then they got the other sac out when I did go for the D&C. So that all happened Sunday. Monday, I still had fevers going on. So then I had an infectious disease doctor come in, and his fellowship and his intern, and there were so many doctors. They kept taking blood work. I was hooked up to IV. They started 2 different antibiotics. They did a bunch of blood cultures. They took a lot of vials that almost looked like little nip bottles. That's how big these vials were of blood. And they were trying to culture to see what was going on. I was septic. I had some kind of sepsis going on, and they couldn't figure out where it was coming from. I was sweating through my sheets. I was sweating through the Johnnies. My fevers kept going up and down. I didn't know how long I was going to be in the hospital. I did get a room all by myself, so that was good, because I did a lot of crying on and off of, not knowing what was going on. I was scared. I had miscarried again, and I went into the hospital being pregnant, and I was still in the hospital, and I wasn't pregnant anymore, and they still didn't know what was going on with me. So that was really, really scary. So then Monday came, still ran fever, still doing tests. I blew through an IV, had to get an phlebotomist come in and do an x-ray on my, I don't know if it's called an x-ray, but it's somewhere they can scan and see your veins. It was really cool. And she was able to get another IV in my lower arm. And so it was really hard. They were running out of places to take blood because they were taking so much blood and culturing everything and trying to figure out what would grow, what was going on with me. The antibiotics were not helping. So then the 5th I had the D&C. On the 7th, this all happened in March. On the 7th, they decided to do an MRI with contrast dye at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So that was a little crazy, because it was like alien juice going in me. It was literally black stuff that went and flowed through me. But the ladies were really nice. It made very warm sensation and very warm in your genital area. Let me tell you, that was really weird. And the stuff that you had to drink, ugh. So, still not being able to eat. I really did not eat much when I was in the hospital because they were trying to figure out what was going on. And if I was going into surgery, I couldn't eat. So I called it the hospital diet because I had gone through so much. So they did see that my remaining fallopian tube did have some clogged, like blood or something in it. But they didn't think that it would be a reason to take it out. They weren't really sure what was going on, if that was the cause of everything. So then on the 9th, Thursday, so I was in there since Saturday. So Thursday, they decided, we're going to do surgery on you. Like, your fevers are still skyrocketing. They're not going away. We don't know what's going on. I'm sweating through everything. I couldn't go 24 hours without a fever. That's why I couldn't get out of the hospital. I had no idea how long we were going to stay. My husband ended up taking the week off of work because we just didn't know what was going on. I did have some amazing church pastors and friends come visit me in the hospital, which was really great. I really appreciated that. On the second day, I'm going to insert a picture. On the second day that I was in there and I was so ready just to give up because my will had been so broke with everything that I was going through, I was giving it all to God, and I was like, I don't know why I'm going through so much, but I can't physically handle this anymore. I'm so scared. When you hear that you're getting an infectious disease doctor coming in and they're going through all these tests and you already had a miscarriage and you're like at a loss. Like, I wasn't in sick pain. I wasn't really in pain at all. I just had these fevers and I just felt so I looked out my window because I was in Harvard Hospital and they had big, huge windows. I did have a beautiful view. And there was a cross in the sky, a clear, blatant cross. And it was a sign from God saying, hold on, don't give up. I will walk you through this. You are going to get through this. So, after going down into the pre-op room, they had to take my temperature. And my temperature was 104.8. That was the highest it got. It got up to 103, a little over 103, but now going into surgery, it was 104.8. Now, I don't know how many people know how high your fever can get before it starts affecting your brain, but I was thinking I was pretty close. I think we looked it up, and I think it's like 106 point something, but I was freaking out. At 104.8, even the anesthesiologist goes, can you take it one more time for me, please? And the nurse took it again, and it was still 104.8. And this was right before I was going into surgery. So he's like, can you swallow some Tylenol with a little sip of water? Now, mind you, I was NPO for over 8 hours because they were trying to get me in an emergency surgery, and they didn't know when I was going to be able to get in. So they're telling me to take Tylenol before I'm going into surgery when you're not supposed to have anything in your stomach. I got scared. I truly thought I was going to die. I was telling my husband, make plans for, the dogs. I was just telling him how much I loved him, and I said, I really think I'm going to die. I really believe that I'm going to die, so I just want you to know how much I love you. So, my husband was very strong, and he's like, sweetheart, you're not going to die. You're going to make it through it. We said some prayers. I asked them, they said, is there any special music that you would like to have when you're on the operating table and for us to play? And I was like, yes, I love Christian music. Can you play K-Love or something so that I could go to sleep with some inspiration, knowing that God will get me through this? So I had an anesthesiologist, I had the nurse, I had the OB doctor, I had his fellow, I had an emergency doctor in case something was wrong and my fallopian tube, did need to be removed, if there was anything else. And right before I went into surgery, they made me sign a hysterectomy form, which was really hard, and I really lost it then because, mind you, going into this hospital, 4 days previous, I was pregnant with twins, and now you're making me sign off maybe in case we might have to do a hysterectomy. My husband stepped back and he's like, you really need to give her a minute. This is a lot for her to swallow. She's 36 years old, and you want her to sign away a hysterectomy in case it happens. That's a hard pill to swallow. So I did, and went into surgery. They had Christian music playing. It was very, very scary. I was just praying, God, get me through this. You know, if it's my time, it's my time. Take care of my family. It was difficult, but I'm here. I made it through. They ended up having to remove my remaining left fallopian tube and my ovary. It was so severely infected and swollen that my fallopian tube attached itself to my ovary, and it was just really, he said it was a mess. It was such a mess that they had to remove both. So now I have no fallopian tubes and no left ovary. I only have one right ovary, which I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that I still have an ovary, but it was really hard. They ended up having to cut me from the belly button down. I think I had like 12 staples or so. I'm not really sure. My stomach is now uneven. I call it like a hunchback because half my stomach is bigger than the other because I guess like the fatty tissue did not connect. And that is like a disfigurement that I deal with on a constant basis. I am so self-conscious. It makes me feel so uncomfortable. Everything I wear, I have to look at it and make sure it's not showing that much. Excuse me. That was really hard. It was really hard to get through. It was a really crappy time. But the whole while, I still had my faith. I still prayed for God to get me through everything. And then we are here now. So